And we're live. Good afternoon, good evening, or good night, wherever you are in the world. Um, I'm Smart Conserver, and today our topic is: are you producing excess electricity at home, and what are you doing with this excess electricity? All right. For those who are just joining the live, please leave your thumbs up. Please, I'm asking you to leave your thumbs up. Yeah. So, are you producing excess electricity? And what are you really doing with this excess electricity? The matter of producing excess electricity would really come from you having a system, and with that system, you're producing electricity for your home. So there are ways you can produce this electricity. If you have a grid tied system, and if you have a on-grid system, a off-grid system, sorry, then you may be producing excess electricity. Then you may be producing excess electricity at home. I have a grid tied system, and the reason why I wanted to discuss producing excess electricity. Hello, how are you? The reason why I wanted to discuss this excess electricity was a question I was asked recently. Hi, Storm Chaser. Hi, Bang BMRS channel. Thank you and welcome to the live. I hope you left that thumbs up. All right, the reason why I wanted to speak about the excess electricity was this. I was at a store recently and I was asked the question. We were speaking on getting a battery, and a gentleman said to me, "You sold electricity?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "But the electricity that you're selling, you're understanding me? You're understanding me?" Yes, he was quite taken aback that I would be one of those persons who would have sold excess electricity that I have. As a matter of fact, I think he was more surprised that I was even producing excess. And producing excess isn't hard, because if your system is pushing out the electricity and you're not able to use it all, then whatever that is left, forever grateful. I am fine. How are you? And thank you for joining my live. Please remember to press the thumbs up. Yes. So if you are producing, if you have a system and you're not able to use up all of the electricity, I was informed when I got my system that it was being dumped. And the dumping of this extra electricity, it really bothered me. And then I was told, "Oh, you can sell." I said, "Sell?" And the person who introduced me to it said, yes, I was able to sell whatever excess that I produced. So that was my reason. And if you have been following me with my conservation journey, you would have known that that was one of my main reasons for going grid tied. So before I started selling, there was something that I noticed. The meter had a side to it. When you looked on it, because I have a digital meter, and when you look on a particular part of it, it would show you the amount of electricity that you started with. And at the time I started with 0, and it read each day how much extra electricity I was dumping, right? It showed how much I was dumping. When I looked at it, I was a bit disturbed because I'm saying these people are getting my electricity for free. For free. Now, I could have continued producing my electricity, not selling it. Whatever I use, and whatever is left would have been dumped. I could have continued like that, but I realized that each day that passes, when I looked on that meter, the numbers kept going up. The number that I was dumping, it kept going up. No. Remember, I had already planned, I had already decided that I was going to sell. So that part of it was not an option anymore. It's just that it took a while before the contract was written up and I received the contract to sign. So it took a little while. Now, watching that number go up, I wondered what amount of money that I would have gotten for this extra electricity. And the amount of money that I got, or the amount of money that I read I would have gotten, would have been so small. So small. However, I wasn't disturbed because here's how I looked at it. If I was able to produce an excess of, say, 200 kilowatt hours per month as excess. So if I was able to produce all of that and all 200 was dumped, I wouldn't have gotten 1 single cent for that amount of electricity. I would have wasted that 200, it would have been dumped. Now, if I decided to sell and they were giving me even $1 each time per kilowatt, it means that 200 excess, I would have gotten $200 each month. That would be $200 that I would have given away each month. So when I looked on it like that, then I considered, yes, I had to get back something for what was being dumped. Ironically, this week that passed, I added the long-awaited wind turbine to my collection of going solar. So I added the wind turbine and I have not attached it to anything as yet. I've not attached it to anything as yet. And the reason why it has not been attached, it's undergoing a series or we're going through just watching it, reviewing it, seeing how it would hold up with, because I started with 1 battery. So the aim is to just see how it will hold up with the system that I have here or whatever it is that I wanted to use it on. The first day I attached this fan to it. It kept up for a while until the next morning it started beeping. and it was because the battery was fully drained. We didn't get any breeze in the night. So because we didn't get any breeze in the night, it wasn't able to charge or kept the battery up. It taught me something though, when looking back at it, is if I was to go fully off grid with whatever system I had for the whole house, it would take quite a number of batteries. If I remember, I remember specifically the gentleman said he had a off-grid system and he was still paying electricity. And I sat and I considered and I was saying, why was he paying electricity? And thinking back, I smiled. Then I realized why he was paying electricity still and he was off grid. Now, for those who may not know, the off grid system is one where you are able to. Hello, Dan, how are you? The off grid system is one where you're provided with batteries, and these batteries are supposed to be able to sustain you during the time when you don't have the sun. So the batteries would have been charged in the day, and at nights when you need light or whatever it is that you're going to use, then those batteries would have sustained you. That's the aim. That's the aim of the grid tied system. The wind turbine that I have is like the it's like the off-grid system. It has a battery where that battery should be able to sustain whatever it is that I have on it during the night. However, based on the unavailability of battery, I was only able to get one battery. The ideal thing was to crank up the amperage. However, I was not able to get it. So I started with one battery to just watch it. And now I realize that I can't use one battery alone. Storm Chaser is saying, Smart, based upon your information that you have, you would not recommend off-grid system because of the price of the battery. No, I wouldn't. And the reason why I wouldn't, Storm, it's because of two things, and I'll explain it to you. For one, the persons who are supplying us with these system that we have here now, and they are quoting us the entire system to run the entire house on this off-grid system that they have. They quote us with the minimal amount of batteries. Now, Storm, I must tell you that one of these batteries for that type of system can cost anywhere from 200,000 up for one battery. And you're being quoted minimum, sometimes I see 8 batteries. I've always been telling you that for a system to work adequately, now sometimes they tell you that the batteries are supposed to last you. I remember the first time I heard, they said that the batteries would last me 10 years. Now, when I look on $800,000, I'm looking on an $800,000 a $800,000 battery, and that would be probably 4 batteries for 800,000. So let's do some calculation. So say we buy 4, right? So we buy 4 batteries at 800,000, and our light bills say it comes up to, because some persons getting some excessive light bills. So our light bills are for about, so we get a light bill for $40,000 monthly. Now, if we divide that 800,000 by the 40, it really should be 20 months worth of light bill, right? And just call it 2 years worth of light bill, almost 2 years. Now, at 2 years, we're supposed to be able to cover the cost of that 800,000 light bill if our light bill is $40,000. However, yes, it's a tidy sum of money. However, 4 batteries won't do. It won't. If your house ideally run on 4 batteries, it means that you need 8. Now, 8 times that 200 is $1.6 million. And if coming back to the calculator, if I was to divide that 1.6 by a $40,000 light bill, that's 40 months. Some of us are not going to put up that light bill money. We're not. We're not going to save that light bill money. We're not going to save it in order to be able to buy back more batteries. Because to take $200,000 out of pocket each time to buy these batteries, it's really a tidy sum. So my way to go, or my advice to most persons, it honestly would have been grid tied. Yes, I know that there are disadvantages to a grid tied system. However, look at it and stop considering that the excess that you may not even be selling an excess. You may be even using up your excess. So whatever excess, if there is any, that you're producing, consider selling it. Even if you're getting $1 for it, consider selling it. Because if you consider selling it, if you don't, it's going to dump. And when it dump, you get nothing. And when I say dump, I don't mean it just, it's like when you dump rubbish. It doesn't go like that, It goes right back to the power company. And that is what the dump is. And it is when you really look at it, it is highly unfair for you not to get something for it. So the best bet is to see what you can get for it. Understand? Now, we're coming back now to the grid tied system. I do understand that the cost of the grid tied system can be a tidy sum. It can be. And it's actually nice if you have that system where it's totally independent of the power company. You're on it. I would feel great. However, how many of us would put up the money that we would pay the bill monthly? How many of us would put up that money to buy back more batteries? And let me tell you, for batteries, they don't go one by one. Because you're getting the system all together, it means that you're going to now change all batteries at once. Think of it. You're dreaming all batteries together. One battery is not going to go. And as a matter of fact, sometimes even if one battery should go, you don't realize it, that battery is going. More than you realize that, it goes one time. And to come up with another $1.6 million, it's not normal. It's a tidy sum. It is a tidy sum. So my advice to you, think about it. Think about it, weigh the pros and the cons. See if you can afford to change all these batteries at once. And the best thing about the any grid tied system that you have, or any system, the greatest thing about it is that you get the invoice, and on the invoice it details it details specifically what and what you're paying for. So you would look on it and you'd see the inverters, the controllers, you would see the panels, the number of panels that you're being quoted for. You'd also see the batteries, and you'd also see installation cost. You would see whatever accessories, probably the pipe fittings, things like those. You would see the panel boxes. All of that is actually listed on the invoice that you would get. So it's rather detailed, and you can zoom in on the cost of the batteries and think of it and ask yourself, in the next, and honestly, they told us 10 years when we started. It's not 10 years. So ask yourself, in the next 2 to 3 years or less, can I afford the cost of these batteries again? And remember, people, if the cost of bread is going up at such a pace, what will the cost of those batteries be in the next 2 3 years, or even a year's time? What will the cost of those batteries be? So think about it. It's not something for us to just jump and say, yay, off grid. No, we just need to think of it, look at it, consider it, work it out, see if we can afford the cost of these see if we can afford the cost of these batteries in a year time or so. um I have seen, and please, I've seen where persons have taken batteries from off their system and they have been selling these used batteries. And when you really think of it, I do understand why they're selling it. They're selling it to see what they can make back from it. And don't consider it as them wasting your time, because when you really think of it, a battery that is removed from a car can be used elsewhere for other applications. So the persons who are selling these batteries are considering that you may use it for an application that is, a little less. Thank you for coming, Don. A little less rigid, or something that needs less power than what the system would have required. Storm Chaser is saying the wind turbine you are talking about, are you going to do a vlog on it? Yes, I intend to do a vlog on it. I intend to speak on it in terms of um, installation, and as well as what is it that I had expected out of it, what is it that I wanted, what is it that the intention or the intended purpose of it. So far, it's just up. The intended purpose is not yet being utilized. I intend to utilize it pretty soon, but it needs other things. The beauty about it is that it's just up and running. I'm able to run things on it now. It's like a little battery backup now. And the beauty of it is that I can do a lot of things with it at this point in time. However, it's under test now or a review, so it's not going to be used at this point in time. Not right now. And based on whatever review so far, it can be seen that it needs an additional battery or whatever it is to run the system that I have it intended to run. It's going to need additional battery. And even with the additional battery, it's going to take some time doing that review as well. Right, you see, it's going to take a little time to do that review. However, Rome was not built in a day, so you have to take your time and test it. It's not like, and please, people, remember, This is not a system that was installed by a company that is stated that, oh, this is what we do. No, it is something that I sat down and I thought about it, and I went out and I purchased it myself online. So I have to do my own checks as well. I remember once when I was inquiring about getting a windmill instead of the panels because I didn't want it to take up my roof. I remember when I inquired about it, I asked about the wind turbine and I was told I may not get breeze over my community where I live. So using a wind turbine was rather iffy. And I remember my response to the supplier, I said, there is a company that sells these wind turbine as well as solar panel. And I see the gentleman have one over at his house. However, he also had panels. And the person said to me, probably that's why, because he would not have received the wind that 24 hours that he was thinking of. I said, but it's high and the breeze is already up there. And I was told, no, it doesn't work like that. No, there was something else that the person said to me that I saw the wind turbine that I have contradicting. The person said the wind turbine they would have to come and do a wind test, right? That's what I was told that they had to do. They had to do a wind test. And I said, what's a wind test? And they said it's to see the direction where the wind was blowing. And I said, what? And I was told that they charge for this wind test. So I said, okay. And they said, if they don't do the wind test, then I cannot consider even getting a wind turbine. I was not willing to pay for a wind test. However, based on what I saw and that gentleman's wind turbine was moving, I figured that it would work for me. So I went online and I bought one. Buying that wind turbine, there was something that I noticed about that wind turbine. Whenever it spins, it searches for that breeze. So it would spin and it would, how would you call that? I think it's rotate. It would spin and it would rotate as well. And spinning and rotating, it gave the users or the user of that the capability of not having to do a wind test because it was looking for its own breeze. That's what it was doing. And can I tell you, there are sometimes that thing spins so fast. It's like it wants to drop off up there. You can hear it from below. And it's probably about 8 or so feet from the roof. I know somebody who is 6 feet something would be able to stand on underneath it and the blades don't touch them. The blades are like a fan blade, but it's more elongated. That's how it looks. So it it searches for its own breeze and it sort of rotates or pivots, searching for that breeze itself. So it pivots while it searches for it. And it's rather fascinating to watch. It is. So I know I wouldn't need to do that test. And if the person who had introduced me to it back then would only hear, technology has now been so advanced that there are some things we don't need to pay for anymore. Honestly, we don't. Um, Even previously, getting a panel or the solar system using a panel, we were told that, oh, we had to come and do an electricity audit. we were told that we had to do an electricity audit. Persons moving away from that now. Persons, yes, it is advisable for you to do an electricity audit, but doing an electricity audit, it's going to cost us, and we really don't have the money for the solar system as well. So adding more to that to get that electricity audit done, unless you're going to take the cost out of the system, then fine. However, I think the purpose of the electricity audit should be able to advise the person who wants that is where the wastes are inside the house. Because they would know. Doing that electricity audit, it will be able to tell you, look here, your fridge is a consumer, or your television is a consumer. Whatever it is that you have is a consumer of this power. Um, when I said that, I remembered the the person at the butcher shop that I was. He was surprised that my heaviest consumption was not from the refrigerator. I told him that my heaviest consumption was really the 24 hours, the thing that I had to use for 24 hours at home. So it would be the CCTV. He was quite surprised that it was that. And he asked why it was in the refrigerator. And it was because the refrigerator was an inverter refrigerator. So being an inverter refrigerator, you would not have that amount of you would not have that amount of electricity being used. And the CCTV don't have don't use that amount of consumption. Um, Storm, you have any question before I continue? All right. The beauty of having a system is your independence. However, even with a off-grid or grid-tied system, it has independence to a point, independence to a period. So, like for me, the grid tied system only really give me that level of independence for 5 years. Then I have to renegotiate a contract with the power company. So I only get 5 years. I don't get any more. With the off grid system, your independence really only lasts until you have to buy batteries again. So you need to probably look at it to see how long you want this independence for. And when I say independence for the grid tied system, the contracts that you receive only last 5 years, only no longer than the 5 years. So with that 5 years, you have to renegotiate with them, and probably it's best. Don't think of it that you want this system and you want it to last for probably a lifetime. No. Remember, systems are things need to be maintained. So things will go down. So they are looking on it to say 5 years, you'd be fine. 5 years, you'd be fine. While the other system, some of us consider it for, well, longer than that. Because like I said, we were told 10 years. However, 10 years is not, it's really not practical with some of the things that we have going, especially with the batteries. And there is something that I heard recently, and it's true. Batteries are not being made as how they used to be made. You see, everybody is looking for money, and you can't blame them. So if a battery used to last you say 2 years in your car, it's not going to last that long anymore. It's not made to last that long anymore. So consider yourself lucky when you do get some of the when you do get some of the extra time out of some of these batches that we're getting. Consider yourself lucky. All right. Is there any question? Another thing too, guys, whenever you're considering going solar, I remember telling you, do so incrementally. Do it incrementally because the cost, the cost of things can be a tidy sum. Hello, board vlogger. Thank you for the thumbs up. Um, the cost of things can be a tidy sum nowadays, and we have to sit down and really think of it. So my encouragement to you is go incrementally. When I started and I got the system, I wanted 6 panels. However, I was told that the if I added 2 more, then I would have been able to add an air condition. I honestly didn't want an air condition because I don't have a hot house, especially during the summer. However, I took it. I took the 2 additional panels. So I ended up with 8 panels. And those 8 panels, I remember when the board vlogger is asking persons to connect with him. Thanks. Um, I remember, hello, hey and videos. Hi, how are you? I remember when I decided that I wanted to add on to it at the time. Now I'm considering adding more to it, and it's not for just adding sake. I'm adding in order to get an additional sum out of it. When the gentleman from the power company came, he said that ideally, in order to make money, I had to consider getting getting 10 panels. I told him I don't want 10 panels. However, he was saying that the amount of money or the amount of cashback that I would get with this 8 panel would be nothing at all. And I wish he could see now that I'm getting back some money, that it is really offsetting my bill, really offsetting it. So I wish he would realize sometimes it's not the size of the system, it's how much you conserve. That is what is the issue, how much you conserve. And conservation, people, is dependent on you. Thank you, Hayden Videos. Conservation is dependent on you, no one else but you. So if you want to have a 2 panel system or a 4 panel system, it's dependent on you, whatever it is that you use. I've seen some persons having that 2 panel system. I see some persons have some 2 panel system because the panels nowadays are being made with bigger capacity. It's able to carry more kilowatts per hour. It's able to give more kilowatt per hour. So you tend to use less. Hey, hi. Um, Are you my subscriber or I subscribe to you? I think so, because your name looks familiar. I'll have to check when I finish. Yes. So conservation is all up to you. It depends on what you are doing, and no one can tell you how much you're going to conserve. No one can tell you how much your bill will be less this month. No one can do that. It's all dependent on you. If you feel like you want to use conservation with your lights, it's you. If you feel like you want to use conservation by tackling the heaviest um item inside your house, it's you again. Nice to meet you again here in videos. It's all about you, and don't let anyone tell you that, oh, you can save $3,000 every month. No, no one is supposed to tell you that, because it's all about you. I might be able to save $3,000, and I think I subscribe to you too. I think I subscribe to you too. When I'm finished here on the live, I look at a couple of your videos. Yeah. Um, so it's all about you. It's all about you. No one can tell you what you're to no one can tell you how to conserve. No one. So don't get it wrong. No one can tell, not how to conserve, how much you're going to conserve. No one can tell you that. No one can tell you that you'll save $3,000 on your light bill. No, they can't. I can't even tell you that either. As a matter of fact, I can't even tell myself. I can't tell myself how much is it that I'm going to conserve monthly. Because see there, I wasn't here for the about 3 weeks, 3 weeks probably out of the month. I wasn't here for, and that 3 weeks has drastically reduced my light bill. My light bill came up to $400. That's the amount, $400. And with that $400, I was in a way upset, because if I had done some of the things that I wanted to do before I leave here, but it wouldn't be possible. So I had to just live with it. So the light bill came up to $400, and if I had my way, then it would have gotten down to zero. For this month, they would have owed me drastically a tidy sum. That was a plan, but it didn't work. It didn't work at all. All right. Are there any questions? Storm, any question? We have about 17 minutes more to go, guys. 17 minutes for the hour. Yeah, for real. We need to be able to assist ourselves with this conservation journey that we're on, and don't let people tell you how much you can save, because how much you can save is dependent on you. I might be over here and I'm saving probably $3, and you're over there saving $500. So consider that. Look into it, and like I tell you, conservation will only dependent on you. Nobody else. No one else. So you can think about your system, and like I said, even with the audits that you need to know more about the wind turbine. What you need to know more about it. The wind turbine, the only difference with the wind turbine and a solar system is, a off-grid solar system is just a turbine, because they both use a controller to regulate the charge that the batteries are receiving. They both need batteries, and they both need an inverter. And for whatever source you're pulling you're going to use to pull that electricity from the battery. Both of them needs it. So in terms of anything more special about the wind turbine, no. I think you have, even with accessories to get for installing the wind turbine, you have some places online that you can buy these accessories, but I must tell you that it would cost a tidy sum. I didn't get that online. I mimicked the one that I saw online and had it made by uh, someone who does grill work. He made it quite well, I must say. It looked like it was professionally done, and I'm with the additional information that he received from my husband. He asked for additional things to be placed there for additional safety, to keep it more secured to the pipe that is there. So it was more, it was better. It was better secure than what I would have bought online to secure it there. It was. Storm Chaser is saying, which one you think would be best? Either the wind turbine or the solar? Um, again, Storm, it's a choice. It is a choice, and I don't think that choice is mine. I don't think that choice would be mine. I think that choice would be left up to the user. And the reason why I think that choice is to be left up to the user, I might live here, and like I say, at certain times I have some heavy breeze up here. They may live in a section that they have breeze constantly. So, who to tell, probably there again, we're looking on the wind test. We're looking on the wind test. So probably they may consider doing the wind test. And it like I said, the choice is not mine. That choice is not mine, because if you actually think of it too, that system that I have there, the supplier said that it was able to produce 5,000 watts of electricity, and that's a whole lot. As a matter of fact, even based on my power consumption, 5,000 watts would be a great deal for the entire house. However, the 5,000 watts is not the problem, It's the batteries. So the batteries will be where the consumption really pull. You need to pull this whatever power you need from those batteries. Do you have the batteries? Do you have the money to buy the amount of batteries that you need that will produce at 5,000 watts? And even based on the fact that, like I tell you, for the first day in the night, not the first day, I think this is the second day, I didn't get that amount of breeze to really push that wind turbine. What happened if you had a system like that running the entire house? Is it that come every morning your inverter would beep? See, the decision is not mine. The decision is for the user to decide what he or she wants. It's not mine. And I don't want to make that decision for persons. I think it's best to say the reason why I chose one over the other. And see there now, I do have the wind turbine, so I have to consider getting additional batteries. I have not reached where I wanted to go with that wind turbine. It's going to take some work in progress, getting the additional batteries then, and then each time you add on something, you have to sit down and analyze it. You have to sit down and see if it's working for you. You have to sit down and review it. And even before putting things on it that you really remember the intended purpose. So if the intended purpose to have it for television use, before you put that television in on it, you need to ensure that it is able to hold up. That's what you need. If it can hold up for whatever it is that you're intending to use on it. So it's the choice is not mine, Storm. It's not mine. And please, um viewers and subscribers, don't ask me to make that choice for you. I can't, because each situation is unique. Each person's conservation method may be a bit unique or tweaked from what I use. um I could have had my entire house on the power company and not pay the same amount of electricity like you, because of some of the methods that I've chosen. And I'm still choosing it. I'm still choosing method. I'm sort of iffy when it comes on to buying electrical items at this point. I'm looking at a lot of things. First thing I consider is what is the amperage or what's the wattage that is demanding out of me. I'm considering that at all times. At all times. I don't go ahead. Hello, Yulis Silva. I can see that you're there and you can say hi. How are you? I know you understand quite a little bit of what I'm saying. I would love for you to come on and say hi. Yes, so the choice is not mine. And please, persons, don't call me. Don't call me for that, for me to make that choice. I don't want to make that choice. I never want to make that choice. It's not mine to make. It's yours. It is yours. And you, before you make that choice, I think you need to sit, think about it, even write down if possible, write it down. Whatever it is that you want to, the decision that you're going to make, write it down. Look on two sides, look on the pros and the cons. And when you look on the pros and the cons, then you look and see which one is greater. Don't just get up and make that decision at this point, no. Without considering it, whatever it is that you want. Don't do that. um I see what you're saying. Storm is saying, I will call you smart even if you run me. I am not going to run you, Storm. However, please don't ask me to make that decision for you, because I can't. Making a decision like that will be dependent on quite a number of things. So you're going to sit there now and you're going to ask me to assist you in making a decision if you want to go grid tied or off grid. It's going to put a lot on me. It is, and I don't think I want to go there. Yellows, aren't you going to come and say hi? I know that you're there now because I can see you in my participation, my participants, and I'm asking you please to just come and say hi. I will respond. Um, so Stan, please don't call me and ask me that. I don't know. I don't know. I can't make a decision like that for anybody, and I don't want to, because if you really sit and think about it, what happen if I say go grid tide, right? So you're going grid tied. And when you go grid tied, you decide that, hey, I don't like it. Or, hey, it's not working for me. Because you can go grid tied and it not work for you. Because you don't understand the system that you have. And so take, for instance, you're going to wash at night. You're going to press in the early morning. Or you're going to do things when you don't have that solar power going for you, then your bill is going to be high. I remember telling someone recently that my bill is low because I transferred the tasks that I used to do in the those tasks that I used to do in the day, in the nights, I transferred them to the day. And because of that, I get my bill lower. And I transfer it only when I see the sun up. So if I'm at home now and I want to wash, I wait until the sun comes up and then I wash. I'm not going to wash when I used to wash at nights. However, I have made changes to what I do. And it has been easier. It has been easier. So I can't tell you which way to go. I know I went one way because it was cheaper for me, or it was a bit difficult shifting because I used to wash every Friday night religiously. Religiously, I used to wash every Friday night. However, based on the fact that I realized that I'm producing my electricity in the day, I shifted that. And I shifted it to the night, to the day, sorry. And when I shifted that to the day, I do almost everything that I can in the day. So if I have things to charge, day. It's ideally I wanted to be able to even charge my cell phones in the day. However, memory and you're really up and down in the day, so you're really using that cellular phone. And it's really when you're resting or at night that you remember, oh my word, my battery is to be charged. That's when you really remember because see, my phone is being charged currently. I did not remember it. Yeah, conservation is it's really a journey. I wouldn't say a trip. It's really a journey in one which we will, hey, a journey, one that we will always consider. We will always consider being on it. And we need to be mindful that we are on it. So some of the things that we may neglect doing, we need to remember that, hey, we're on it. So we have to continue on it. And continuing on it, it's a challenge sometimes. You may leave the faucet running. You have to remember it. So it's something that you have to remember, guys. It's not just something that you're going to jump up and do. You have to try and remember it. It's not an easy journey for some. It might be easier for some, but it's not an easy journey. But it can be done. It's doable. It's really doable. All right. It's now call it 59 minutes in. Yeah, we're 59 minutes in. Are there any questions for those persons who pop in and pop out? I want to thank you very much for joining my live today. There are some persons that are very quiet. I've seen some persons on my I've seen some persons on my live. I've seen some persons on my live who refuse to speak, but I want to thank you for being here. Um, she just came off. I want to really thank you for being here. It was a journey being here with you. I enjoyed it. Storm, thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for being here. I want to thank you each week for being here. Actually, you are a blessing in disguise. Thank you very much. We're now onto the hour, and I see I got 10 or 11 thumbs up. So we're off now, guys, and it will be another week. I know I enjoy going. It's 11, thanks, Storm. I enjoy doing the live where I can work with my hands. I like working with my hands for things. I'm hoping that one of these weeks in the near future we will have things like those. I know I had one, but trust me, that one is a story. Hi, how are you? Good night. I'm actually closing my live. I saw you on a live today, but I couldn't join because I was a bit busy. Um, so I want to thank you all for coming. Please leave your thumbs up. And for all those who are here or who may be joining us after, then I want to say have a good night or a good morning wherever you are in the world. Have a good night, a good morning, or a good evening. Thank you for coming, and we're ending the live stream now.